Cursed by the old gods in Bethany, we are 5 immortals doomed to walk the earth until we complete our 1001 tasks. Due to being really noisy that night, and some of us were straight up not listening, we are not sure what 1001 tasks we are supposed to accomplish. Luckily, we have found these convenient books that can help us with our goal. After centuries of digging around, we are ready to complete our destiny and die. We are, for now, the Immortals. And this is episode 6.
Woo! Yeah!
We made it.
6 times the charm.
We will eventually get the hang of this. If we get the hang of it in the early digit, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I think so.
That's not bad.
This is a 1001 episode course.
I think we nailed it in one. Our first episode was dope.
Do you think we peaked?
Definitely peaked, yeah.
This is the downward.
It's all downhill from here.
Because, back in that first episode, we actually introduced ourselves pretty early in the episode before we all started talking.
That's true.
I said, I'm Austin.
I'm Adam.
Oh, I'm Sarah.
I'm Leigh.
I'm Pedro.
We did that, and we did that really well.
Yeah.
This time...
Whatever. This time we're rebels.
I give that 500.
Rebels?
We transitioned...
rebels?
No.
Rebel without a cause. The movie for today.
Which would be a good transition if we didn't have a stupid hinge fact to do.
Hinge fact.
Oh my god, hinge fact.
God... See,
Okay.
we were so good in the first episode.
Okay. Leigh found this henge fact, and it's super cool.
Oh my god.
Because it's about a super henge. So they found a super henge buried 3 feet underground in Wiltshire, and it's really cool, and it's way bigger than Stonehenge, and it's under the ground, and it's awesome, and it was a henge in the news, and I thought you should know.
So, ants built it?
No, it's big. There's stones, 15-foot tall stones underground that have gotten buried through erosion.
I was going to say, that's a lot of digging.
Yeah, no, they haven't dug anything. It's all been done with, cool, geological, instruments and crap. So they haven't dug anything.
This explains a lot, because when I remember, there were a lot more stones back then. But I didn't actually count them.
There were quite a few.
Right?
Yeah, there were a lot of stones, and a lot of them were really big.
Because we already established that Pedro created the Aubrey holes in there.
Yes.
But that joke never landed, because Pedro never says his last name was Aubrey on the podcast.
Right.
That's true.
Oh yeah, that's my last name, by the way.
So that was a really slow burn joke on that one.
But that joke was from episode 2. Which is not...
And now we finally explain it.
Cool.
And also we do hinge facts because every week we review something from the 1001 movies, albums, TV shows, classical recordings, children's books, and foods you must consume before you die. Each one's a random number, and we give it a scale from 0 to 5 hinges with more mathematical detail, seems like, every week.
Yep.
And then once we do that, we can die.
Yeah, so once we do all 1001, we're all going to die.
Yay.
Pretty great, I think.
I'm pretty excited about
I'm
it.
looking forward to it.
It's going to be in 20 years. So, get comfortable.
Cool.
So, but as we alluded to a few minutes ago, the movie this week was all of our tasks were based on the number 281, which was randomly assigned to us, the 281st entry, and all of these books were the following. The movie is Rebel Without a Cause. The album is Let's Get It On.
Wow, 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 wow.
I feel like that's going to happen a lot.
It is.
It absolutely is. The food is...
Mozzarella Bufala Campana, which Austin is afraid of saying because he'll say it wrong.
Yeah, there's so many words on there. If I can get the D right. I don't know. Pedro, you want to say yours?
The classical recording is the String Quartets by Felix Mendelssohn, Opus 44.
And the children's book is John Brown, Rose, and the Midnight Cat.
And the TV show is The Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk. But first, we're going to start with the movie, Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah!
Yes.
This is a 1955 movie directed by Nicholas Ray. This is perhaps the most noteworthy today because it is one of the 3 films that James Dean was in. And really is the movie that James Dean is most defined by. This is
Was this his first movie? The first of the 3?
We looked it up, and now I can't remember.
I believe either he got this role because of East of Eden, or he got East of Eden because of this role.
Gotcha.
They all come out within a year of each other. Basically, by the time he's awarded the Oscar, he's dead.
Yeah, the last one was released.
Nominated. By the time he was nominated for the Oscar, he was dead. So it's all really close together in 1955. Yeah, I think that some of them come out in 1956. But
so it was Rebel Without a Cause, East of Eden, and Giant.
Yes.
Giant. Yes,
Giant. That's it. Yep.
So this is a movie that is about Jim Stark, played by James Dean, and a couple of other teenagers, and they're all just kind of feeling the essence of being a teenager.
I don't know about that. I didn't have the kind of scruffles that they had when I was a teenager.
My teenage
This was not the average day
was much easier than that
in a teenage life.
We also didn't have cars then, so that might be part of it.
I suppose that's true, yeah.
It was mostly just dealing with various plagues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this
Lots of plagues.
But in many ways, people kind of attribute the 50s as the birth of the teenager.
Well, in this movie specifically, as the encapsulation of the birth of the teenager,
Yeah.
more than just the 50s. Yeah.
And this was kind of one of the first films to kind of recognize that as an age group, where it wasn't just you go to school, then you run the store. There is this now unique time before you're an adult. And this film captured the emotions of it. I had seen this film before. Have you guys seen this before?
I had not.
I had.
I have not.
Really?
This is my first time seeing it, yeah.
Wow.
I did too. This is not my first time.
Okay.
But this is my first time, at least first time, it sounds
Okay.
like.
Yeah.
So I'll hear from one of
I
you.
saw it in theaters.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
did not. I was
I
just...
should have.
Yeah.
I had other stuff to do in the 50s.
I didn't think that Dean guy would amount to anything, so I just kind of let that slide.
Oh, real quick,
Oh,
James
yes.
Dean from Marion, Indiana.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
It's true.
We should note that some of us live in Indiana.
Yeah. No, we do. We all
For
start
first-time
with Indiana.
listeners.
No,
Mhm.
just
We
saying.
acknowledge episode
Finished
1.
here by Bethany, because Bethany's
Yeah,
a
if
bitch.
you haven't been listening since the beginning, really, it's over at this point.
It doesn't have to be.
No, keep listening.
Please keep listening.
No, I don't know. My thoughts on Rebel Without a Cause are sort of specific because the whole time I kept thinking about how this kind of behavior that they're exhibiting, because I agree with you, Pedro, like this is, like it's supposed to be like regular old teen angst, but like, like it's crazy. Like it's not, like there's like, I mean, I will just, people die and let that be like an open floating non-spoiler, except that people die, so what they're doing is a kind of risk-taking behavior that is beyond what we see now as sort of normal teenage behavior, and verges a lot. So I happen to work in juvenile delinquency land. I work with kids who are adjudicated delinquents now, which is exactly the kind of thing that James Dean, he has character's name, but I don't really care, James Dean's parents are worried about. And now that kind of behavior, I mean, we see as so scary and criminal and evil. And there is this feeling in the film that although important somehow to the kids, it's not ever, I don't know, it's interesting to me that it isn't portrayed as threatening to society. I didn't feel like. I felt like it felt like angst, and it felt like a
Definitely
tragic
felt
mistake, but not like...
Well, it's kind of unrecognized angst. All the adults really just kind of roll their eyes at them, even when you have two kids literally having a knife fight in the courtyard. You just kind of let them go,
and the cop is just looking at it. He's like, what?
Well, no, the one kid is introduced by, why did you kill that litter of puppies?
That's
like,
Yeah.
like that's some heavy shit.
And what was the bad guy's name? Buzz?
Buzz.
Buzz.
Oh, Buzz is great.
Yeah,
Buzz.
He's
Such a good name.
He's introduced when you first meet him, like, hey, glad that guy didn't die that you fought. And he was like, oh, they never die.
Right. I mean, and so it was sort of interesting because I was watching it trying to figure out, like, is the movie trying to tell me, like, hey guys, hey world, teenagers are in much more danger than we think they are, which is sort of like more of the 90s. Like, there were movies that came out, like, in the 90s. I think of, like, a movie that I just thought of recently about this was 13, which was one of those movies that was also like a teenage movie. But that movie has very much a feeling of, look at all these horrible things that teenagers are doing to themselves, and it's sort of a...
Well, 13 actually kind of fits into the good comparison of this film, because that movie was seen as like, oh my god, this is such a risque film. This is the raw elements of what teenagers actually are nowadays. And then 5 years later, that film was seen as very passive.
Right.
Like, it always needs, like, the first film to kind of have, like, what teenagers are really like, and then they're instantly outdated by more nuanced things.
But that's where I couldn't tell whether, if I had seen Rebel Without a Cause in 1955, which I didn't, whether I would have felt about it the way that everyone reviewed 13, of like, oh my gosh, these things teenagers were doing, or if maybe instead the point of the movie was, this is what's going on with teenagers, And isn't it crazy that no one cares about their emotional,
Mm-hmm.
like, inner life? That, these things that seem important to them aren't seen as important to anyone else. So I think it's hard. It was so much clearly a movie of its time that it was hard for me to resonate with it as anything other than a piece of history.
I have to agree, because I was watching it and just thinking, wow, this movie feels a lot like Grease, but without the musical bits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which has a musical set in the 50s.
But filmed in the 70s.
Correct.
Right.
So and I thought, the movie starts off in a police station where you see the three main teenagers. It kind of goes around them, and you have James Dean, who is drunk. You have Judy, played by Natalie Wood, is very upset. Plato is in a very weird place, and they kind of all interact, honestly, very much like the first scene of a play. It really is. Here are all the characters on stage, and they're going to do their own things and come back in their ways. That was, I think, actually one of the least affecting scenes for me, because you start off on such an emotional high that doesn't always feel the most sincere. Like, you have James Dean screaming, "You're tearing me apart."
Yeah.
It's very big. It's very intense. You're like, what kind of film are we in right now?
It just kind of drops off after that for a while.
It was a long intro. That whole scene was like 20 minutes long or something.
Yeah.
It was a big... I don't know.
And then it felt more authentic from then on out.
Mm-hmm. I kind of had the same feeling that Sarah and Leigh had with... I can't tell, because I don't remember much about the 50s. I can't tell how much of the movie is a product of its era, or if maybe they're trying to push to extremes the ignorance of parents and the craziness that high school kids can get into, and just to see just how far things can go with the parents still being completely oblivious. Does that make sense?
A bit, yeah, because the authority roles are all in very different elements of flux. Mm-hmm. You have some people who get what's going on and don't care because they just think it's trivial. You have others who do get it on a certain level. Like, you have the cop at the beginning, he's really trying to connect to him.
Yeah.
But then you have, during one of the most dramatic scenes in the movie, Jim Stark trying to confront his parents about doing the right thing.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Where he is trying to go to the place of information, and very much a parents know best situation is now put into extreme question by the audience, where you're really watching a scene where the audience is going, I think the 15-year-old is more right in this situation.
And he's actually telling his parents how to parent him.
Exactly.
And they just can't do it.
And I think that this movie reminded me a lot of a John Hughes film that way. Like, I think this movie connects to the really difficult emotional being of being a teenager more than The Breakfast Club. Because it's just not as easily defined, and it's tricky, and you're in an age where you now kind of recognize authority and situations and institutions, and it's now up to you to decide what you think of them.
Yeah, it's not a very easy movie to watch.
No, it was hard for me to watch.
I thought an interesting scene that proves that point was right before they do. They have the scene where they're playing Chicky and driving cars off cliffs.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And right before that, Jim and Buzz are talking, and they're like, I can't remember the scene exactly, but they're saying, like, so, I mean, we can kind of agree that this is stupid, but, like, what else are we going to do? It's like we can't just not do this now.
I liked that, where somehow through some insult or another they have to go through with this, but together they're sort of looking at each other as equals. They're like, why are we doing this? Well, I guess we have to. All right, good luck.
Well, that one scene created the entire Fast and Furious franchise. Right?
One of your favorite film franchises.
It's sadly not on the list.
There are two parts of this movie that I remember. Like, I don't remember the first time I watched it, but I do remember that when I did watch it the first time, the part where he jumps out of the car really quick to test it out, I had no idea what was going on. I'm like, is that just how he exits vehicles?
That is a really great question, and now I feel like I should exit all my vehicles that way from now on.
Yes.
Well, I think the film was messing with you, because the scene we're all talking around is the most famous scene of the movie, and is the most iconic thing, I guess, beyond James Dean's wardrobe, which is this game of chicken, where just two cars facing a cliff. who jumps out first. And it's really memorable, and you get so many really creative ways of filming it. Nicholas Ray is such a fascinating director to watch because this is like, you're still part of the studio system of Hollywood, but it's kind of transitioning to new Hollywood with more independence and more rebel elements. And he just was always kind of pushing that line of challenging what the norm was from old Hollywood films. What is the parent structure? What is this? And he has a really cool camera. I mean, the film's shot in a very exciting way with weird movements and weird angles.
Would you say perhaps he is a rebel with a cause?
Oh, he definitely has a cause. I would say so. Yeah. Lee, don't laugh at that.
Many causes.
I'm funny.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was.
I'm going to edit all this out.
You have that power.
I'll keep that in. So it's a very... What did you guys think? 'Cause it's also very much a melodrama. Like
oh my gosh.
We talked about there are deaths
very
in this
much
movie. So. And, I mean, that kind of heightened reality is how a lot of films talk about teenagerdom. Heather's, Veronica Mars, both have a high body count for high school stories.
Oh, man, yeah. We haven't talked about Plato. Speaking of melodrama.
So we've got to talk about Plato, the third person at the jail cell who really kind of... in the first scene, you have Jim Stark trying to give him his jacket for comfort. Mm-hmm. And kind of from then on out, Plato kind of looks to Jim Stark as a role model and a friend when literally the high school doesn't care about him at all.
Mm-hmm. Was this... He's new there, right? I always took it to be like that was his first day at the school.
It is.
It was his first day at the school because of that one scene where he's walking. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not Plato's.
No.
It's James.
Okay. Yeah.
But so he sees this mysterious guy who's in trouble just like him and
latches on.
Mm-hmm. Sort of a father figure, I guess, almost. Because
for sure.
That's definitely
the whole scene in in that abandoned mansion is like I don't know. I thought that scene was a little weird.
It was strangely paced. I don't think, not in a bad way. It was long as well. That whole bit was on its own like 20 or 30 minutes. And
it's the climax of the film. These three kind of get away from it all and almost have these moments of peace before things get really bad.
Before shit goes down.
And the emotions are very high. Did the melodrama work? Did it seem organic with the rest of the story for you guys?
I think so, because, I mean, all three of them are having their own troubles at home, and they all end up getting pushed out of their home in some way or another, or leave. Mm-hmm. And they sort of... I could see them coming together the way they did, sort of, to escape.
Yeah.
Go to the mansion, plan out their future together.
Yeah.
All that good stuff. One thing I was wondering about, maybe Sarah can clear this up with her law experience. He was going to go and supposedly snitch out the guys. What would happen? Like, why were they so upset, and what would they be charged with, I guess? You
mean in terms of about what happened at the cliff? Well, I mean, all of that is illegal behavior. I mean, they're all participate. I mean, in theory, sort of hard to talk about this without. I mean, in theory, they're all complicit in a death. Which means, that, like, I was looking at that, and I'm such an annoying lawyer, so of course I actually asked myself the exact same question. At least in Illinois, you could probably charge that as reckless homicide, if you really wanted to, for pretty much all of the kids involved.
Because Jim was the one that was driving, so I could see him getting in trouble, but why were all the other guys so...
I mean, even if you're not charged with that, there's reckless endangerment charges, there's all sorts of stuff that you can get charged with for being complicit in that kind of... when a death happens, people get charged with all kinds of things. I think that was... And one of the things that I liked about the scene where there is that question of, do you tell, do you not tell, is that it is actually not entirely clear whether all of the kids did anything wrong or whether this was a tragic accident or whether anyone intended for anything horrible to happen. So it's not like a scene where someone has like brutally murdered somebody. It's more complicated than that. And I don't think it's meant to be 100% clear.
No, I think the ambiguity works really well because as a teenager in that situation, you're not going to know what happened. You're not going to know what's going to happen or what you could be punished with. So I think that that ambiguity is very important.
Yeah.
And Jim's parents were on both sides of that. Like, the mom was like, we're definitely going to the police. And the dad doesn't think they should and just let it lie. So...
a lot of great moral puzzles.
Poor kid, yeah.
You mentioned before about the melodrama and the parallel to a John Hughes movie, and I gotta say, I mean, the difference between this and The Breakfast Club to me was that at the very least, James and Plato, Judy's sort of inner pain is not quite as at least I don't have like a strong a memory of it. But Plato and Jim are dealing with very real stuff.
Yeah.
So where The Breakfast Club,
Judy's being beaten.
Right. Oh, of course. I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, I know it sounds horrible, but like, but like The Breakfast Club, right, is all about how one of the kids has a real problem and the rest of them have kind of fake problems. But maybe we should talk about how they're all people. This is about three kids with some very real adult problems.
Oh yeah.
And so when they run away to get away from it all, and when things go south, you kind of it's not patronizing to them in the way that a John Hughes movie can be, of like, wow, yeah, it's true. Like, all of these, in John Hughes movies sometimes feel like, all of these problems really do seem like a big deal when you're 16. This is not that movie. Like, their problems are very real and are things that adults would and do struggle with.
I think that's, to me, the strongest part of the movie is that complete sincerity and that complete treating. Just because they are younger, they are still having these feelings day in, day out. And that is emotional and it's sad. And you can't just, like, so often people would tell Jim Stark that, in 5 years this will all make sense to you.
Oh my God.
And he says, I can't wait that long.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the added tragedy is that the actor never made it 5 years older.
What's amazing, the ages of the people in the film are amazing. I mean, so James Dean was 24 when this was filmed. Natalie Wood was 19 when this was filmed. So she's basically, usually actors are like many years older than the characters they play. She's really only like 2 years older than she's supposed to be. And I mean, for a 19-year-old, damn, she's an amazing actress in this movie. But no, I mean, I always remember when I was a kid, as a teenager, people would say exactly that. And the horrible tragedy of that phrase, in 5 years this will all make more sense, is that to a certain extent it's true. That you do get 5 years down the line and you look back. And even now, looking at the kinds of situations they're dealing with, there are some answers that seem to, that do seem to escape them. Particularly with Plato, he's just dealing with that kind of like raw pain that you deal with as a teenager about family problems that, when you're older is easier. You have more perspective. You have more ability to articulate what's going on and talk about your feelings and get away from a bad situation. But even though it's true, it doesn't help. It's like the worst thing to hear. Oh my gosh. He's trying to punch people who told me that.
Yeah. So, how old are they supposed to be in this movie? Did they say?
16 or 17?
12, I thought 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No, they're not.
They're 12. I mean, it is really hard now that we're immortal to judge ages, but they're definitely not 12.
So hard.
Yeah. It's also the driving laws were different back then. It wasn't 16, right?
Oh.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I think it actually was younger.
That makes sense. The drinking age was younger, so.
Yeah. Well, he was still a minor, so he's at most 17.
Right.
I don't think they were like seniors.
Well, I could go on a whole treatise about how the juvenile laws apply to them and wouldn't now and all.
Yeah.
But I'll leave that for I don't know, a podcast addendum if you all want to hear about that.
With the whole in 5 years' time you'll laugh at this thing, when that scene was happening, I couldn't completely be on the dad's side, kind of, for a little bit, because, for a lot of this stuff, in 5 years' time, you will laugh at it. But for the other parts, like a knife fight,
yeah,
that's
never gonna laugh.
Remember that time I got in a knife fight?
When we were young hooligans, that guy came up, slashed my tire.
Yeah, I was coaxed into a knife fight that I didn't want to be in. Such good times.
Then they ended the game of chicken.
Yeah, you can't live your life thinking that, because every problem you tackle, you're going to be like, oh, this doesn't actually matter. And 5 years' time, I'll be.
Yeah.
Well, because honestly, I feel like the truth about teenagehood, and this is maybe part of the other point the movie is making, is like being a teenager is friggin' traumatic. Like all of us are so deeply shaped by the stuff that happened to us when we were 16, whether big or small. And you do get the feeling from this movie that these characters are becoming the adults that they're gonna be, for better or for worse. Like this is the beginning. And where their parents land, and there's also, I mean, another thing that obviously is, I think, the generation gap. There is not a feeling that these teenagers are going to grow up to be their parents. That is not.
No,
I don't
these are
think
not
that the idea is part of the point he is making, whether it's true or not in the grand scheme of history. And of course, looking at what's happened to the generation of James Dean, whatever. Anyway, my point is that generation believed that it would grow up to be something very different than what its parents were.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, they were also coming out, I mean, 50s was a strange time in general, coming out of the Second World War and all that.
Right.
I remember hearing somewhere that era was a bit more violent in general, just because people were used to it after they came back home.
I could see it.
So I'm wondering if maybe that's how the teenagers picked up such a quick...
knife fights.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, also, I mean, abusing your child.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
And let's not talk about specifics, but the film ends on a very interesting note. So, is there hope in this movie, or is this just like sympathy?
I think there's hope, which is just because I feel like after the huge tragedy at the end, the parents are sort of realizing that, okay, this isn't just fun and games. They're not just kids doing what kids do. There might be something here. We might need to pay a little more attention or change how we go about things. And I can see, I mean, Jimmy's definitely going to be scarred for a while. His first friend, the only guy that was nice to him.
Yeah,
he was. I don't know.
He was in control because he had the bullets. Jim had the bullets.
Oh my god,
that is the other thing. So I said the two things that I sort of remember always as like the first thing that I had ever seen from this movie. One was him jumping out of the car, and the second is him screaming, "I've got the bullets."
Oh,
that scream is
that's horrible.
That's never left my head.
Let's think that as a tease, because people don't really, like, pop culture has talked about the chicken race scene, but not everyone knows the end of this film.
Sure.
Yeah, as someone who is in love with popular culture and making pop culture references to movies that she's never seen, I had no idea what the plot of this movie was.
I didn't either.
Really?
Yeah.
All I knew about
you guys didn't know what was going to happen, or
no.
Oh, no.
So it was really nice to watch a movie this old and not know what was happening.
All right.
I mean, all I really knew about was James Dean and his red jacket, and that's the iconic thing. But
the poster, basically.
I definitely want a red jacket now, though.
I mean, that's
Oh,
fair.
of course.
Man. Sorry. Go
I think
ahead.
we're ready for some hinges now.
Henge.
Yeah.
So let's start with Lee. How many hinges do you give this?
Ooh. I'm feeling 4.2.
Okay. Pedro.
Oh, this is definitely a 4.5. At least. 4.6.
I'm going to be a rebel, so I'm going to rate it in Hanges. And I will rate it 4 Hanges.
Oh.
I don't have a cause, though.
I'm going to say 3.4.
It's also ready to be the bad guy, because I was going to go 3.5.
Okay, great.
I've seen it twice. I really respect it for the conversation it's having, but I never completely emotionally connect with it. I'm always watching a really cool, like, discovery of teenagerdom rather than fully caring about these individual characters.
It's fair.
So I find the film more interesting than I like it, but I'm glad that I rewatched it again.
What did you guys think of James Dean as, like, just his acting, his portrayal? Because wasn't he notoriously hard to work with?
Well, he is the kind of the beginning of method actors, really.
Okay, because every scene when he was ever doing something intense, I felt like that's what he was feeling then.
Yeah.
He was yelling at the cast and crew. Like, I definitely bought it, but to such an extent that it almost came out of the movie. and into...
This is just James Dean yelling at people?
Yeah, like, I was like, is he acting now, or is he...
Just an asshole.
Yeah.
Which kind of works for the character as well.
Yeah, it does.
Is he acting, or is he just an asshole?
Yep.
I mean, what, him playing with the very opening scene, just him playing with the toy?
Oh, that was cute.
Yeah, that was really cute, but I was like, wow, is he actually having fun there? And to the point where I'm like, is he even acting in a movie now? It just looks like James Dean is doing what he does, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think it's as part of the Charm and Allure film.
Mm-hmm.
And he only made 3 films before he died. It was this, East of Eden, and Giant. And that was our review for Real Blood Cause. This is on DVD everywhere. It's a very famous film.
Oh, yeah.
You should check it out.
You can turn around and you'll find it.
Probably, if you own it, and behind you is your DVD shelf.
It's behind you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
James Dean was the one that said "Live Fast, Die Young," right?
I think that's attributed to him, but
I mean, the real James Dean and the myth of James Dean are very different people.
Yeah, sure.
I highly recommend his Wikipedia page.
Oh my god, his Wikipedia page is amazing.
It's great.
Read it.
Highly recommended.
Yes, I read it last night, and it's absolutely amazing.
It's great. Yeah.
Okay, so do that after the podcast, guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or pause the podcast and then read it and then come back.
Make sure you spell Dean Deean.
Yeah, no, not Deen. That's bad.
Different, yeah.
That guy's in the news for
Different
other reasons. Anywho, I was almost talking about you 4 about not looking up right now, because we got more things to talk about, including a very special album. What album is this?
By Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, go
ahead.
That's all you.
Floor is yours.
Okay, so I want to read a couple quotes from the liner, the album liner, because it just really sums up this whole album. This is written by Marvin Gaye. I contend that sex is sex and love is love. And then later he says, have your sex. It can be exciting if you're lucky. I hope the music that I present here makes you lucky. And I think that just encapsulates what this album is.
So, this is an 8-song album. It's called Let's Get It On. The first track is Let's Get It On. This is an incredibly famous song. If there's a hacky comedy and 2 girls but have sex, this song will play. That's a guarantee edit-wise.
Okay, I realize this is a personal question, but I kind of want to know, has anyone ever actually had sex to Let's Get It On?
No, but I'm going to now. It's now a life.
Right?
14 times.
I feel like it would totally kill the mood, but maybe that's just me.
At this point, because of what Austin said, that it's in every hack comedy, you know.
You don't want to be a hack comedy scene.
Exactly.
No, it's not.
So what you do is play track 4, which is Let's Keep Getting It On.
Whoa.
Yes.
Which is...
Oh.
So, I guess the most important question for your review is, the song Let's Get It On is so famous and so incredible. How are the other 7 tracks? Is this actually a good album?
Okay, so the reason why I read those quotes is because this album is a song. This is an album you have sex to. Like, you put it on, you find your favorite person, and you go have sex with them. Like, that's what this album is. Every song is about sex.
There really is nothing... I listened to this as well, and I learned that... I don't know much about Marvin Gaye as a person, but I know that he is very much pro-sex.
Yes.
He
At
is.
this point, he is. Like, this is his 13th album in his very wide career. It came out in 1972, and, like, before What's Going On, which was the album before this, that really got his popularity going, and that's when the record label was like, okay, you can kind of do your own thing, and he kind of exploring himself and, like, his own spirituality. And then he was like, okay, you know what? Let's do this. Let's make a whole album all about sex, because sex is awesome.
And he did.
And he did.
This happened. And it was such an interesting album to listen to because you have that first track, and even though it isn't every hack comedy, it's kind of a perfect song.
It's
great. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's catchy. It's clever. And it's so ridiculously sincere in such a silly, silly way. But brilliant.
No, I feel like Marvin Gaye wrote that song because he was trying to have sex with somebody, and that's just like what came out of him singing as he propositioned a girl in the bar.
Oh yeah,
I totally believe that.
If you don't listen to it, if you just read the lyrics, it's like, hey, let's get it on. There's nothing wrong with me.
Do you like love? I'm in love with things.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, come on.
So I heard that. I didn't know the whole album's going to be about this. So then track 2, right back into that mentality. To the point where in this album, there's essentially a sequel song called Let's Keep Getting It On.
Yep.
On track 4.
Well, realistically, I don't know how long the average sex session is, but there are certainly, that could come at a useful time. I'm just saying.
I have to agree.
So wait, this is supposed to be live singing of the entire
I'm just saying,
sexual night?
There are...
I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah.
I don't see why he wouldn't want that.
So you proposition sex, and then the next 2 songs you're having sex.
Right.
And then you're like, wait, let's keep...
Oh, wait.
Exactly.
Is the album still playing?
Yeah.
Oh, let's keep
What is this
it
guy
on.
saying? Marvin, that's you, right? Let's listen for a second.
Can we talk about track 7, which is You Sure...
Oh my god.
You Sure Love to Ball?
Love this song.
Please, Adam.
I feel like it's post-coitus basketball that they're playing.
I don't know. The moaning in there kind of doesn't make it post-coitus.
Well, okay, so then they play a quick game of horse, and then they're like, come on, let's keep getting it on.
Yeah. We are listening now. Let's get it on. So we've now, this is our 6th album we've discussed in the show, and we've had things talking about a variety of topics. Some were commentary on a genre, some was just celebration of rock and roll, and then some deeper things. We have lots of sad British people talking about
Lots of sad British people.
father issues.
Oh my god.
We have to talk about kind of race and culture and how things are going on. And now we have this album that truly the thesis is, sex is great. Does that make it less? That's not as deep of a theme, or did it nail that theme?
I know. It picked, it's wonderful. I think it did the theme fantastically well, because it could be very, very explicit and, basically instructions, tab A into slot B, but it's not. It's more of, getting a mood going and a feeling going and saying, we should do this. It'll be fun. Come on.
I would say tab A and just slot B is a lot less sexy than Martin.
Well, I was trying to be nice.
So, and there's so many songs about sex, and this is all very respectful. It's really more about love and sex.
Yeah.
Which also makes this an incredibly charming album.
Yeah, somehow it's not crude.
Even the song with moaning isn't that crude.
Yeah, I know, I agree. I don't really know how he pulls it off, but it is, despite clearly being an album that you are supposed to have very good sex to.
Yes.
There's no bad sex happening in this album.
That would be the weirdest track in this album.
Yeah, it's bad
if it's
sex.
called,
I'm sorry, let's try again.
Usually I'm better. The name of that track.
Oh, no.
I think it's just because he has the really actually sweet songs in between, which are If I Should Die Tonight and Distant Lover.
Yeah. Distant Lover was so sweet.
Yeah, and that's not about sex at all. It's just about love, and then...
But you are definitely supposed to have sex to it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's, it's about... Because you have to get that emotional part of sex, too.
Yes.
So I've heard.
I cannot wait for our spin-off sex podcast.
Yeah.
You're going to be so great at it, you guys.
Absolutely. It's mostly about this song. So are we ready for Hinges, or do we have more to say about Let's Get It On?
Ready for Hinges?
Hinge ready.
So, Leigh, it's your album.
I give it a 4.5.
Who else listened to it?
I listened to it. I will give it a 3.8. Look, this album's a lot of fun, but sometimes I am not having sex, and I really can't think of any situation other than having sex that I would feel comfortable listening to this album in public. Not even gonna lie.
Yeah, it was difficult listening to this album at work. It made things awkward, not gonna lie.
Crowded subway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Sarah more and give it a 3.6.
I'm going to go a solid 4. I think it has an absolute masterpiece of a song, and then 7 pretty good songs.
Yeah.
To make... Yeah, that was a good album.
Yeah.
So, in case you haven't heard, let's get it on.
You've heard it no less than 7 times.
And we'll continue to hear it throughout this
Just the
podcast.
first few notes.
I'll rate that song. I didn't listen to the whole album, but I definitely give that song, 4.7?
No one cares.
Oh, thanks.
Oh.
This is sad.
We have to eat cheese, guys. It's really important.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Yes, please.
I'm so excited about this.
Yeah, I've been staring at the
The
plate.
fact that the food segment is not at the very beginning is kind of torture.
It is.
I would say it's the best part of our podcast.
Now I know what you
it's the
guys
tastiest part.
Well, the last time you sang those tunes, I think you were looking at the cheese.
I mean,
So,
this is some sexy cheese. This is mozzarella di bufala campana, which I should give fair disclosure. Before this podcast, I've eaten this many times. This is one of my favorite foods. To give a little background on what it is, if you haven't had it. So many people have had fresh mozzarella. It's become a much more prevalent food item as the yuppies and the hipsters take over the world. But mozzarella di bufala is a little different in that it's not made from cow's milk. It's made from water buffalo milk. If you didn't know that Italy has water buffaloes, boy, are you in for a surprise, because they totally do, which is super weird. There's all sorts of theories about how they got there and like which various barbarian group brought them from Asia, but point is they have them, and basically all they're good for is making this cheese. It's real good stuff.
It says on my thing, it doesn't say Italy, it says the Andes Mountains.
Oh, weird.
So maybe they brought them back from the whole conquistador era?
So no. So what that means is, no. What that means is that your cheese is crap. No, I'm kidding. So mozzarella di bufala, just to be super snobby, in America, we don't have a sort of, in Europe there are DOCs or AOCs, which are all Italian or French acronyms for controlled labels.
Yeah.
Basically, both for wine and for food, especially cheeses, you have to make them in a certain way and often in a certain location in order for them to be considered authentic. Now, in America, we are, filthy something or others, Americans, and we don't necessarily honor that. So in America, you can sell mozzarella di bufala as any buffalo milk fresh mozzarella cheese. Mozzarella di bufala campana is, which we have... Well, actually, it's interesting. I don't know if we actually have it. Mozzarella di bufala campana must be made in Campana, which means it would need to be imported. As far as I know, what we're eating today was made fresh from buffalo milk, but here in America. So my guess is it is simply mozzarella di bufala, but it was made today. So if it was made in the Andes Mountains, it's probably not the DOC version, but, whatever. Anyway, that's snobbing them.
Italy.
Yes, which is amazing. If you are in Chicago and listening to our podcast.
I think you also one in New York.
There is also one in New York. It was originally in New York. So it's a great, big Italian eatery.
It's pretty amazing.
It's pretty awesome.
Wait, so does it count if they bring the milk over?
That is what I was just wondering, because it seems like that might have been what Italy does. So now I'm fascinated to know the answer to that question, and I have no idea.
So that's what this thing says. This thing just talks about
the
milk. I don't think it's
I think that's probably right. I mean, as long as you make it to the right specifications and it's made with milk that comes from the breed of water buffalo that lives in Campana, maybe you're okay. I don't actually know the answer to that question, though, so I might be talking out of my ass. Anyway, we should eat this cheese.
Well, in 20 years, we'll see which one of us dies from actually doing the task correctly.
Right, exactly.
If you're alive, that means
this
you
shit is
fucked up
so
the
good.
cheese. So...
Oh.
For the first time ever, the Indiana people also have their own cheeses.
Yay!
We do.
Oh my God, this is so good.
We took a picture of what our cheese looks like, put that up on Twitter.
Eat all this cheese forever.
Take advice. So someone talk about what they think.
Oh my God, it's so good. I love it. Oh, this is one of my favorite foods, guys.
Aww.
It's so good.
So, Adam, have you had this before?
No, this is my first time.
What do you think?
I'm getting a lot of mozzarella.
Well.
So it's made in exactly the same way that you make cow's milk fresh mozzarella.
Right.
But buffalo milk has a much higher fat content.
Yeah.
So you need much less buffalo milk to make mozzarella than you do than you do cow's milk.
So it's very watery, as we mentioned, and we bought it in a bag literally of water.
Yeah, that's how you buy it.
You buy it in a very liquidy state. Pedro, Lee, what do you guys think?
I'm eating this by itself first, and then we're eating it with tomato and bread and
olive oil and garlic.
Oh, that's good stuff.
We are eating it just by itself right now. We have olive oil.
Those are so good.
But
it is good. Wow.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
I think I like it better than regular mozzarella.
This stuff is really good.
I've had this before. I think I've had this before.
So what it's really good on it, and is part of the DOC, the European Appellation Sport pizza, Neapolitan pizza. It is a staple of traditional Neapolitan pizza, and it is way better than regular mozzarella on pizza. It is because it has a tang to it that regular mozzarella doesn't have.
Right.
So this is a thing that I have noticed about myself in the eating of cheeses and then meats, the animals that whatever. You can taste the animal you're eating in the milk. So, like, for me at least, okay, this is me. Maybe this is just me, but like...
Oh, wait, Adam's a vegetarian. Just gave the most awful look ever.
I know. I'm sorry, Adam. But no, so I really don't... So I really don't like goat cheese, which
this doesn't have the same amount of
which I'm sure will come up in a podcast at some point. But I've now also had goat milk, and it tastes like goat cheese to me. Like, the same taste is in both, because I think I just don't like the taste of goat. So there's this tanginess to buffalo mozzarella that's different than cow mozzarella, and I assume that is because we are eating the milk of a different animal. It's not quite like anything else. It's only like itself. And interestingly, you don't really make any other kind of cheese from buffalo milk. It's just mozzarella de bufala.
Really?
It's like all they really make. There's not like a big range of cheeses.
What about buffalo sauce?
How do you know?
What?
Like a cheddar de Bufala or a Gouda de Bufala?
It seems sacrilegious, but now I really want to know if someone's tried.
Gouda de Bufala.
Gouda de Bufala is great, and I hope that somebody makes it someday. For those who've never had it, if you haven't had fresh mozzarella, it's particularly hard to describe. But it's basically like a giant ball of sort of...
delicious.
Yeah, like... It's soft cheese, but it's not spreadable. It's sort of...
which is why we're not using the crackers or anything, because...
It's sliceable. You can slice it, but it will still be watery and soft in a different way than what a hard cheese will be. And it's got this very pleasant, wonderful tang. Oh, I love this stuff.
It is. I like this. I like this better than goat cheese, I think. I like goat cheese, but...
I love goat cheese, so...
I think sometimes goat cheese is a bit too strong, and this does the job
Goaty.
of...
It tastes like goats.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So nothing about the whole thing is very appetizing to me because it came in a bag of water.
It's weird,
First
admittedly.
of all, and it just looks like a snowball, and there's like a thin layer of, I don't know, skin on it.
But you can eat.
And I can't discern this from like any other cheese I've had, really. It just tastes like a regular old mozzarella. So, I mean, it's good. I'll give you that. It's good.
During all that, Adam put his head on the table and was just staring at the cheese at eye level the entire time.
And I was chowing down because I love this shit.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good cheese. It's just like...
I think it's okay. Like, there's nothing like... Maybe it is the different type of milk going on. I think it's absolutely fine. But I guess to me, the best kind of cheeses are one that you'll just like happily have on a platter.
Yep.
This is a cheese that I have nothing against, but I prefer it to actually be on... We've had it on a pizza before.
Yes.
Right? We've had it it was good there, but I was also had an entire pizza around it.
It needs to have a supplement.
Whereas I think right now...
Nope.
Because this was whole a few minutes ago, and now it's
oh my
gone.
god, you're so right. I've eaten like so much of this cheese.
Right now,
you guys each only had a bite of it, didn't you?
I had 3 bites.
I had like
no.
3 or 4 small bites.
Oh
it looks like a dinosaur hatched out of our.
It's so good though.
It's okay. I'll take that for Twitter.
Oh no! All right, I'm ready to henge this.
Are you guys ready? Well,
yeah.
I think so.
Let me try it one more time.
Yeah, I think we feel like I need another taste of it.
Okay, cool.
Are you doing the tomato olive oil now?
Yeah, no, it was delicious
really
with the bread and the tomato and the garlic olive oil. It was delicious.
Very much so. I'm going to be eating it the whole time.
Yeah, we should have done that.
Disagree.
Well, it's almost gone. So, Sarah, it's your segment.
5. I mean, this is like literally my favorite fruit. Like, I love this stuff.
Okay, 5 inches. Adam?
2.7.
Jesus, dude.
Wow.
It's just
You talked away from the mic to avoid Sarah right there.
It's
Oh,
just.
man.
It's
Y'all
just.
are killing me.
It's just cheese.
Austin.
It's not just cheese.
I'm giving
There's
it-
nothing special about it. It's just cheese.
No, it's pretty good. I give the cheese by itself a 4, but eating it with the bread and the tomato and the olive oil and all that, that's definitely a 5. That's really good.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards Pedro. I'm going to give it like a 3.5 because I'm not a huge fan of fresh mozzarella. Like, if I'm going to eat mozzarella, I'd rather be string cheese variety because I'm just not a fan of it. So, but with the tomato and everything, oh my god, 5.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm
Oh, yeah.
curious about that experience. Maybe we'll put a bit of olive oil on what's remaining here, just to kind of...
That's fine.
So good.
But by itself, 3.
It's just cheese.
You guys are wrong.
It's not
It's okay.
just
I
cheese.
should feel to be as wrong as you are.
Oh my
Wait,
God.
so Pedro, why is it not just cheese?
It's never just cheese. Every
No, yeah,
cheese has
there's-
its own.
Just the whole phrase is a lie.
Yeah, the whole phrase is a lie. You're completely right.
Oh, maybe I'm just a...
This is curiosity. Sarah, how would you rate just cheese?
Well, every
What?
cheese is different.
Exactly.
Could you give cheese 1 hinge rating?
No, there's too many different kinds of cheese.
I was saying
I just explained.
All cheese.
I just explained that I hate goat cheese, and I also like I'm actually fairly picky about my cheese, despite being I have very either very good or very bad, very polarized opinions about cheese. So it's pretty much everything is either a 5 or a 0 for me.
All right.
Wow.
Well, we have an entire cheese section.
I'm
of
excited.
the
It's going to be
Bufala.
really interesting.
There are a lot of cheeses on this list, so look forward to various 0 and 5 ratings from Sarah.
Yay!
Who just gave a thumbs up for an audio podcast. Did it again. So now we're going to move on to, we're going to switch up the order a little bit. We're going to move on to some classical music. Pedro, we have...
Wait, what? Is it my turn?
Yeah, we're switching it up.
Oh, no.
Didn't you get the text?
Oh, God.
You responded to this text.
Yeah, I did.
So, Pedro, we're listening to some... No, that's all going to be kept in. We're listening to some string quartets this time.
Yes, we were. The Opus 44 string quartets by Felix Mendelssohn. Mendelssohn, German composer, born 1809, died 1847, died kind of young. Kind of a child prodigy. The quartets, he wrote 6 of them, but I don't know, the opus numbers don't line up So, Opus 44 are quartets numbers 3, 4, and 5.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make sure you're listening to the right number, and then within the opus number, it'll also be called, so it'll be called Opus 44 Quartet 1, Opus 44 Quartet 2, Quartet 3. So I actually listened to the wrong one at first, because when I listened to Quartet 3, I listened to it played the first one of Opus 44 again. Anyway, so I really like this. I like quartets a lot because it's not a lot of instruments, so it gives each one more time to shine. It's almost like a more elaborate solo. And yeah, I mean, these were fine quartets. Nothing spoke out to me too much. I really liked the opening of the first one. That made me feel like I was watching a scene from, like, I don't know, Victorian England type movie where everyone just starts dancing. Yeah,
totally got images of people like racing through the castle to get somewhere. It opened up with such a lively note, and I thought my favorite was the first one.
I think that was the one that stuck in my head the most, probably because I also listened to it the most. To be honest, the second one, I don't remember much at all.
See, now you're making me question which one I listened to, because I listened to one of them, and I thought it said number 2, but because of this goofy, weird numbering system, like, it started off, like, I felt like it was one of those 90s Diamond commercials, where it was, like, really fast-paced, and, like...
No, I was able to figure out which one was the first one, and the second one on YouTube, but after enough confusion, I just bought an album. Because actually, I had to buy 2, They don't. It's weird. I couldn't find any albums that actually had all three of them together for digital download. Just kind of annoying.
Neither could I. So what I did was I listened to three videos on YouTube, each with a different quartet playing it from across the world.
That bothered me a lot. I couldn't do that after a while.
I enjoyed it because unlike other ones listened to, it was just the audio track. I actually got to watch them perform, which is ultimately 4 people in chairs. But still, there was this energy, and I thought all three were very vibrant, but the first one the most so.
It did. I think the first one was definitely my favorite. I don't know who I listened to for the first two, but the third quartet, which is quartet number 5 officially, that one was the album that I have is performed by what's their name? The Aurora String Quartet, and I don't know where they were playing, maybe in a big concert hall or something, but it almost sounded like they had a full chamber orchestra, like it wasn't just instruments. It was a really good sounding recording. Not my favorite quartet necessarily. The recording itself was really nice to listen to. I enjoyed the whole thing. But yeah, your average quartet, really, I'd have to say.
Well, and this is the one thing I keep mentioning every week that I am the most ignorant about. And so I don't know how to articulate my thoughts on it, and hopefully as the show goes on I can understand more about it. But this one I really found to be one of the most beautiful, and perhaps just because of the instruments, but really I just thought it was always just so exciting and interesting and flowed together in ways I just wasn't expecting, that I really, it was the fastest listened to, I think, of any of the ones we've done so far. It was the nicest one to listen to while working, one of the nicest ones. Yeah. Just of pure, like, these notes together is just very glorious. I really like this. This just could be like, the first roller coaster you go on to is your favorite until you actually go on to, a better roller coaster. So maybe if listen to more string quartets, this one will go down in ranking. But right now, a really wonderful 90 minutes of music.
Mm-hmm. No, I have to agree. I haven't listened to too many quartets. I mean, I'm not really a quartet connoisseur, not yet at least. But yeah, I mean, definitely fine music to have in the background, and I think going back to what I was saying earlier about quartets, I think that's why you might have liked this, Austin, because with quartets you do have that chance to basically listen to every instrument and let them do their thing, and then they come together, and then maybe the cello will break off and play a little bit on his own, and it's just a good listen.
Absolutely.
What would you rate this?
Well, it's usually your segment goes first, but I'll give it a very strong 4.5. Maybe 4.5. It's just really, really nice.
A bit higher than me. I give it a solid 4.
I only listened to the second one because the title of the song was very confusing. So I listened to the second one. I enjoyed it, but I don't feel comfortable giving it an actual rating.
And I unfortunately did not get to it, but now I kind of want to.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah, we will provide links on Twitter, and then once the website's up, and the show notes for this. So get excited for that. But now, get really excited, because boy, do we have the picture book for you.
I liked it.
Adam, what do we got today?
The title of the book is John Brown, Rose, and the Midnight Cat. It's by Jenny Wagner, and it's illustrated by Ron Brooks. And I gotta say, Ron Brooks, on point. The illustrations,
oh my god, it was gorgeous.
Were beautiful. Yeah. So you get all the points, Ron Brooks. The story...
and you can give away the whole story.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not worrying about spoilers for children's books.
The whole goddamn story is this woman, her husband just died, and she lives with her dog, and this cat comes to visit them at midnight.
The dog's name is John Brown.
The dog's name is John Brown.
And the woman's name is Rose.
Yeah, and so John Brown as a dog's name is pretty great. I'll give it that. It's a
great dog name.
Yeah, don't get confused with the wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals.
I totally thought this book was going to be about the slave revolutionary before the Civil War who was hanged at Harper's Ferry, and I was super excited.
Nope. So John Brown is the dog. This cat keeps coming to visit them. first, the dog and the woman are living a happy life. They're happy, whatever. The cat comes outside the house, and the woman is like, "Let him in, John Brown." And John Brown is like, "No." And then talks to the cat and is like, "Listen, cat, you're never getting in this fucking house."
He does not say that.
I'm paraphrasing. And then the cat comes back the next night, and the woman says, "Oh, look at the cat, let's bring him in." John Brown says no. So then, eventually, the woman gets sick, and she's like, "John Brown, I'm never going to get out of this bed ever again." And John Brown thinks, and he thinks, and he thinks, and he says, "Will bringing the cat in make you feel better?" And she's like, "Oh, yes." So he brings the cat in, and the cat starts purring, and that's the end of the book.
You forgot a major part of the story,
Go on.
which is when she fakes an illness. She goes, "Oh, I'm just going to get in this bed and never come out of it again because I'm going to die now." And then the dog goes, "Oh, will the cat make you feel better?" "Well, maybe." Then she's on the couch,
Yeah, she
She's
does
like,
get
"No."
out of the bed.
She doesn't fake an illness. The cat makes her feel better.
No, I think she faked it.
I totally did not get that vibe. I do not think that's in
She
the text.
was having an argument with her dog and couldn't win the argument.
No,
so she goes,
with her dog.
"I'm going to die too."
No.
Let's bring this cat in.
Well, the
No.
dog is a really forceful figure in her life, so he's
He's a little abusive, I'll say that.
so
Sure.
What the hell,
abusive.
guys?
Yeah.
This is a really nice book. Look, I think you guys all have really cynically high standards for what happens during picture books, okay? It's a nice shaggy sheepdog and a nice old lady, and the dog's afraid of change, and the old lady's like, "No, let's not be afraid of change. Sometimes stuff changes, and that's okay."
I think you're looking at the world with rose-colored glasses, Sarah.
Oh.
I think change is not always.
You wouldn't have let
Okay.
the midnight cat in? It just starts purring. You would have been wrong.
Exactly.
I have a midnight cat of my very own. I have a black cat. Do you hate my cat because it's a midnight cat?
Is your cat actually black?
Yes.
It
Because
is.
there's always like a little dot of white somewhere, isn't
No.
there? No, completely black.
Oh no, my cat's completely black.
I don't think I've ever seen a completely jet black cat.
Well, you can come in my cat. She's nice.
All right.
So wait, we're talking about how it's accepting change. Is this book really about the dead husband? And the dog not coming to
Yeah,
terms with it?
I think so.
And the wife's on better terms about her dead husband?
I think so. I mean, I think it's definitely about people getting old and dying, for sure. And the fact that is a part of life.
But to tell that story with an addition to the household instead of subtraction is strange.
Yeah. It's like, make way for the cat. The cat could, for all I know, kill the husband.
No, actually, the way I really took it was that the idea of the midnight cat looks really threatening, right?
Yeah.
And looks scary.
No, it is scary. And
It looks scary.
That's what
but
I was
then
hoping.
it's not scary.
That's where I was hoping the book would go, is that the cat comes in and wreaks havoc on their life,
Jesus
but no, it's
Christ.
just fine. And that's just not how stories are supposed
Well,
to go.
it's strange because the dog talks. Right?
No, well,
No,
that's
the dog
not
talks.
strange.
Okay.
It was weird, and it came out of nowhere at first, but then oh, the dog talks.
No. I'm fine with that existing. I'm saying the cat doesn't talk, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Not yet. I mean,
So
yeah.
Exactly.
what's going on here?
The story's not done. She didn't finish the story, I think.
You think it's an incomplete picture book?
I think it's an incomplete story. The cat needs to, we don't know, the cat just comes in and he purrs, and that's not an ending.
No, it's all about how the midnight cat, which is the representation of change, looks like it's going to ruin the relationship of the dog and the woman, and it's going to cause all these problems. And instead, you let the cat in, and it's fine.
Wait, that's a good point. We didn't actually have the scenes where it is fine. It just ends with its arrival.
Yeah.
So the point wasn't proven in that,
It purrs. When cats purr, they're non-threatening. That's the whole point.
When you first go into a new house, are you threatening? No. You warm up to the host.
You think the cat is lying in wait? Actually, that's totally
That's the
thing
plot of the
cats
story.
do.
That's exactly it. The story's not done. The cat takes over the house, kills John Brown.
In all seriousness, though, this is a perfectly nice story you can read to your children.
It's dumb.
I pass.
What?
The pictures were really pretty.
The pictures are
that-
pretty.
That's pretty good.
That's why I'm not giving this as a book as low a rating as
It
I
deserves-
should. because the illustrations are so
Yeah,
good.
very good drawings.
Yeah. The dog is just the dog looks realistic.
Yeah,
Weird.
it is. It's a nice dog.
Yeah.
So, Lee, what are your thoughts?
I I'm not a fan of children's books in general.
Well, you hate children.
Great segment.
I do hate children, so definitely kind of, I don't know, plot was too simplistic.
It's a picture book, but yes. Well, we hate the
I don't
plot,
know,
so
like, I felt like the cat should have been more sinister.
Yeah. Yes.
Because, like, as a threat,
What?
it wasn't really that threatening, because it's just a cat.
Right. John Brown is a crazy person.
Everyone's afraid of things they don't know.
Overbearing.
He's overbearing and he's just the worst.
Y'all are nuts. Pedro, did you read it?
I'm looking at it right now.
He's watching the YouTube video of it right now.
Yeah, so
It's a 4-minute video. So
to be
we
clear,
stole
like, it actually, unfortunately, it looks to be an Australian book from what I can tell.
It
So
is.
maybe it's in print in Australia, but it doesn't seem to be in print in America.
We had it was at the Chicago Public Library.
Oh, okay.
But it was a weird thing where we couldn't check it out from the library. We had to read it there.
Oh, weird.
So we actually just all watched it on YouTube.
Yeah, in the YouTube video, if you look up John Brown, Rose and the Midnight Cat on YouTube, it's a very lovely video, and you should give the person who reads that views, because she deserves it.
It's
Oh,
very
wow.
nice.
We will tweet the link to that and also put in the show notes on my website.
Oh, nice. Yeah, do that.
The pictures are really nice. Wow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This cat looks sinister.
See, I think it needs to be more sinister. It just looks like a black cat to me.
I feel
Yeah.
like the
Looking right at the
microphone
dog,
is not communicating my exasperated facial expressions at this
I
entire
I wanted this to be
conversation.
more like a Grimm's fairy tale.
Damn,
Yeah.
guys.
So, hey, Derek, you're just looking at the pictures, not...
Yeah, no, let me be clear. I am not listening to the story. I have no idea what's happening.
All
I'm
right.
just looking at the pictures, flash by.
So,
Great.
Pedro didn't have time to watch the 4-minute video, so...
Nope.
Let's hedge this.
All right, so Adam, your segment.
2 for the illustrations.
Absolutely 2.
I'll give it a solid 3. I'm not saying it's the best book ever, but it's fine.
I think we brought you down. You were having a 4.
No, I was
You were
not.
having a 4.
I
Yes.
thought you guys were at a
Oh,
0.
yeah.
If you were going to do a 2, then...
I don't think I'm ever going to give anything a 0, because it's like the prose was good. It
You gave
sounded
a
good.
2.1 to the poison food.
Oh,
That's because he actually liked it, though.
I did like it.
It's still in the fridge.
Yeah, I'll give it 2 to
This is
something.
a
that I
callback,
liked.
guys. The time we
Harder.
had Mostarda de Fruta 2 episodes ago.
Yeah,
Still gross.
still in my fridge. It's awful.
Lee,
So-
what do you think?
I'm gonna go with 2 because the pictures are amazing.
Nice. All right, cool. We'll find then.
It's
You're
okay.
the cat, Sarah.
I have the cat.
It's true.
No,
See,
you
I
are
have
the
a cat too,
Look, here's my
and
cat.
I still
I'm
think
gonna
the
show-
cat
I'm-
story needs
Wait,
to be
can
more
we tweet a
sinister.
picture of my cat?
Sure.
Oh my gosh, we can tweet a picture. You're gonna see a picture of my cat, everybody. Look at her, it's my cat.
I've seen your cat in real life.
Isn't she the best? She's the best cat.
Yeah, she.
We are on Twitter at the Immortals Pod.
You can see my kitty.
That's true.
I'm gonna post
This
her right
cat
now.
has thumbs.
Yeah, my cat has thumbs. Beat that.
My cat is adorable. Beat that.
What is this? None of this makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
All
Her
right.
cat drools
Yeah,
when you pet it.
That's not good.
because he's so happy.
Yeah,
Ew.
And his
It's
teeth are
cute.
so big.
it's cute.
Wait, Lee and Pedro, how many hinges do you give Lee's cat?
5.
Yeah.
How many hinges do you give my cat, Austin?
Well, you go first.
I give it 5.5 hinges.
Oh.
I didn't know that was possible. I mean,
Whatever, my cat's better than yours.
I give it 5 hinges. Adam?
She's a little standoffish, so I'll give her a 4.5.
What the hell? That's just because you suck. She's friends with everybody else.
All right, so I think that brings it to even then, right? 5 hinges for both cats.
I
Arbitrating.
suppose.
Mm.
Yep.
My cat's better. Anyway, let's talk about a bad TV show.
Well, that's a transition. So the TV show
Sorry.
that I had to watch this week was The Incredible Hulk, which is a show that started in 1978 based off the very popular Marvel Comics. It ran for 5 years, and then after it ended, it had a series of 3 TV movies that did surprisingly well on NBC, whereas the original aired on CBS. It's about David Banner, not Bruce Banner, because the producers changed that because they thought alliterative was too silly.
Wow.
It's a legal issue.
You're not even, I was wondering why he was David Banner.
It's David Bruce Banner. Bruce is his middle
That's-
name.
For real?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Yeah,
That's what it
It's
said
on
on his
his,
gravestone.
Yeah. So,
That
I'm
makes so
not
much
a
sense
Marvel expert, but I've read a few comics with the Hulk in it. So I'm going to do a comparison of how the show is and the comic is. In the comic, they're testing this radioactive material. They're doing a bomb in the middle of the desert to take it off, and there is this kid in his way, this kind of younger guy, and Bruce Banner kind of pushes out of the way. He's going to get hit by the impact.
David Banner?
No, Bruce Banner.
This is in the comics.
Okay.
So he does that, pushes him out of the way, and then he gets just hit with all the gamma radiation from that.
Oh, that's very heroic of him.
Yeah,
Not at all like his stupid alter ego, David Banner.
That is my transition.
Oh my God.
In the pilot for the TV show, David Banner is doing a series of experiments to try to unlock the inherent strength that a person has in a time of crisis, much like the Grinch lifting the sled. It's the same comparison. It's like, your child's under a car.
One of the people he interviews is like a mom. Who's
I'm laughing because that's so perfect.
Because he's green.
Yeah.
So he's trying to unlock that because his wife died in a car crash, and he felt it was his fault because he couldn't lift a car. So he's doing a series of dumb experiments to try to unlock that. And then he thinks he has a clue. So in the middle of the night, he just decides to put himself in the most ridiculous chair ever and just blast himself with full gamma radiation.
You get to see the chair in every single credit sequence from then on.
Yeah, they're proud of that prop. And then he goes, oh, it didn't work. Because that's not a real experiment. And then he gets, just to continue with the car motif, his car breaks down. And he's changing his car in the rain, and he has trouble with the jack, and he gets angry, and then turns into the Hulk and throws the car off the cliff.
I like that, the thing that first makes him Hulk out is so lame. It's literally something that happens to everybody. Changing a tire is annoying.
Right. So he goes back, this is all the pilot, it's a 90-minute pilot. Yada, 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 the entire lab blows up, everyone thinks he's dead. He killed off a nice person who was... not because of the Hulk, just because lab blew up. So they think he's dead, and now he's going to walk the Earth every episode looking for a cure, while this kind of hacky reporter knows that there's someone out there, this green figure who's a menace. So he's going to also follow him across the Earth to get that story of this Incredible Hulk.
And to be clear, David Banner is not looking that hard for a cure. The jobs that he takes to try and find a cure...
Well, I saw a few where he actually was, at a radiation lab.
Okay.
But his first job is a ranch hand.
Yeah. So, I know Austin watched more of them. I watched the pilot, which is a two-parter, and then the only other one I watched... Well, let me be clear. This show is bad. I'm just going to go ahead and make the value judgment right out.
Not a good show.
It is not a good show. Do not watch it. It is bad. It is it is boring. So I talk a lot in my life about the sine curve of good and bad movies and good and bad TV shows because I'm a huge nerd. And a sine curve, goes up and down and up and down and up and down. And so there's movies that are good, and there's movies that are bad. Then there are movies that are so bad they're good, and there's movies that are so bad they're bad, and so on and so forth. And you can get to those really terrible movies, but they're still good. This is a bottom of the sine curve TV show. It is not so bad it's good. It's just bad. It's boring. I can never remember the plot of anything. Literally the episode I watched, I don't remember the name of. It should be hilarious because it's a stupid story about how the Hulk joins is a zookeeper and fights a gorilla, and all of the other animals they clearly paid a ton for zoo animals. There's a real tiger, there's a real lion, there are real monkeys, but the gorilla is a guy in a terrible gorilla suit. Just terrible. I mean, you can see his human eyes, it's bad. It's bad, bad, bad. And then at the end, the Hulk fights him. And I honestly could not tell you why. I have no idea.
Well, it's a strange thing, and this is the issue with every story of the Incredible Hulk. And it's very similar to the Wolfman or Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, in that your protagonist doesn't want to be this creature. So, with the example of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and the Wolfman, those are horror stories. So you have a character sympathetic who will keep turning into this monster, and those are exciting sequences, you still feel bad for that guy. The Incredible Hulk is always seen as a hero. He is an Avenger in the films. He is these things. So it's always been the hardest to adapt him into a story because your main character doesn't want Hulk to be in the movie. So you kind of have a conflict of that all the time. And for the first time ever, because I've only seen the Hulk in a few things. He's had 2 films now, and he's been in the Avengers films. But in this one, when the Hulk appeared, played by Lou Ferrigno, it's very dumb. Like, ultimately, if the Hulk appears, dumb. The plot will just get annoying. Like, in the movies, which are very good movies, but at least, like, a big action scene will happen. You'll see conflict on the other side. This one is just a guy in green makeup, which the green makeup has less.
Did they really just paint him green?
Yeah.
Oh,
they
yes.
painted Lou Ferrigno green.
Oh, and he wears knee-high green socks.
Yeah, and has a green wig. And in the TV movies, NBC, they didn't bother to do 2 coats. That was a very
it's a
pinkish
bad. Yeah.
Hulk. But so ultimately, what he's going to do is he's going to definitely break a chair. 100%. He will break a chair in the room. He'll probably throw a lamp. But this is like the uncontrollable monster that David Banner is going to spend the entire series trying to cure. He's not a killer. He's not much of a wild card, just kind of the annoying guy who messes up your house at a party. Like, it's not that bad. You're just going to lose a lot of clothing because he's going to rip the shirt every single time. It's just dull. So when those happen, like, the show always treats it as the most exciting sequences when they're never at all. So I jumped around a lot for this one. And so I watched the first 2 stories, 90 minutes. Then I watched ones that were kind of beloved. I watched the one called Married and the one called Prometheus. Then I watched the one where he joined a black car wash with Ernie Hudson because I had to.
Choice.
And it turns out this show was not nuanced to talk about race. That was not a thing the Incredible Hulk had in it. But it was such a... So even the best episodes are just filled with conflicts that don't make any sense. The reporter chasing him down is a terrible antagonist because everywhere he goes to, he hulks out and there's a billion witnesses. Like, exposure shouldn't be that big of a deal as a threat. It would be a lot more interesting if the woman from the pilot survived and it was more about her wanting to replicate it, so she follows him across the country and him trying to cure it. That actually is a different kind of point of interest, where it's wanting to get away from him. This is just an inept reporter who, for some reason, spends 5 years of his life not writing one story and not getting a single photo of the guy. It's just not a very good chase through. David Banner is a horrible character. He is very cruel in the pilot, which would be interesting as an anti-hero. But then episode 2, he's just a ho-hum, let me help out this kid kind of guy. And it's like that for the rest of the series. It's just... Every episode never had the fun to it. The first TV show we reviewed on this show in episode 1 was Wonder Woman, and all these kind of are based off those successes. You have Batman and Wonder Woman, and this one's in the late 70s with the Incredible Hulk. Wonder Woman is awfully dumb at times, but so charming and fun and silly and well done in a way that this just fails, and everything that changes from the comics, it does it in a more boring way. When they actually had more... Because there's no other Marvel characters in the actual show. So in the TV movies, they had people like Thor and Daredevil. And the way they did Thor made... The whole story of Thor in the Incredible Hulk Returns is some really, really annoying scientist was on a climbing expedition, and he finds a cave. Then he ignores all the writings on the tomb, and he opens the tomb and finds like a dead body and a hammer. And he picks up the hammer, and if he says like the right words, Thor comes out of the hammer like a genie. Because Thor was imprisoned there because he angered Odin. Sure. So Thor just kind of comes out whenever the guy says the magic words, and then he fights things and wants to go to bars and drink and meet ladies, and then goes back into the hammer.
So he's more like a creepy Captain Planet?
Yep.
Creepier Captain Planet.
Creepier Captain Planet.
He also doesn't do as much, because like that, the TV movies oddly have not that much Hulk in it, and that one, it's just still so horribly written, where the annoying scientist kept saying, yeah, it's this guy Thor, and even though he's old-fashioned, he just believes in heroism, and everything he says is always about doing the right thing. Then there's no footage of that actually happening. He immediately tries to beat up David Banner because he looks stupid. He wants to go to bars and sleep with all the women. So they keep describing Thor actually as a hero, but there's almost no evidence of that in a 90-minute movie. Every script is just inept and horribly paced and boring and horribly acted. I saw 9 episodes. Most of them were two-parters that were acclaimed, and this is the worst show I've watched so far. I don't want to watch any more, please.
It's really bad.
So bad.
Well, I just feel like all of us all week, like, because we had sort of all been like, oh, this is easy to get to, let's all watch it. And we were all, like, cajoling each other, like, no, you can do another episode so we can talk about it. It's so bad.
I watched 3 episodes, and I stopped in the middle. Like, I watched the pilot, which is episode 1 and 2, and then I watched the first part of a 2-parter and could not care enough to watch the second part of it.
That was exactly how I felt. Like, I just didn't care.
I typically try, because I can't always watch the entire show within the time allotted, but I try to get a good percentage. This is my only bad percentage in 6 episodes. So, like, I did not get... There are 84 episodes of the show. And I, like, even though I only saw a third of Wonder Woman, I will watch more Wonder Woman one day. Like, absolutely, I'll throw that on and get a few more done.
So why is this... Why did we have to watch this?
Well, it's on the list.
Why is it on the list?
I think it's just, it has a cult appreciation.
Yeah, for sure.
And I spent all week trying to ask people who saw the show, like, which ones did you like as a kid? And I had one coworker who said that he watched as a kid, but even as a kid he knew this was terrible. And I had one friend who said he watched as a kid and liked it, but I can't tell you one memorable episode of, like, you should watch.
Did this air in primetime?
Yeah, this is on CBS.
That's crazy.
It kind of feels like the producers thought, oh, this is going to make a lot of money because it's a great comic book, so we don't really actually have to put much effort into it.
Oh, for sure.
Turns out they were right.
I don't think read the comic books, because they're not up against other monsters or anything. It's just like, this guy...
literally just David Banner wandering around.
Sure. There's no other, like, supernatural creatures. It's just the Hulk in normal situations where, there's some corruption at this barn. This guy at the car wash is doing this kind of thing. This woman has a terminal illness. It's
nothing
God. Like...
And the women.
Oh, my God.
The women.
All of them are blonde, and all of them are killed by David Banner.
So I will say, I actually watched 4 episodes. The 4th one I remember so little of that just because it was boring, not because I, like, was drunk or anything. It was just that boring. But 2 of the episodes I watched did have brunettes in them. But everyone was a bimbo. I mean, it was embarrassing as a woman to watch. It was a sexist friggin' show. Sexual harassment is apparently hilarious.
I saw one where a blonde woman was killed by another blonde woman.
What?
Yeah, who was a black belt.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like you do.
That was a twist.
Well, there was one who was an actual other scientist, besides the one who got killed in the pilot.
Yeah, she's not... Yeah, the one in the pilot actually isn't terrible.
She
was awesome. Character. Why did she die?
Because she was awesome.
Yeah, because she's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, he gets married to someone pretty awesome with a terminal illness.
Sure.
And, he's not married in the next episode. Because turns out...
that's how terminal illness
They didn't
work?
cure the terminal illness. But that person ended up winning an Emmy, which confuses me that you can win a lead actress Emmy for one episode television show.
That really says something about the state of being a woman actress in the early 80s. Yeah.
Or it could just say a lot about television at the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, this is a show that we know is well liked, and before we give our hint rating, it's going to be negative. Please do email us at theimmortalspodcast@gmail.com. Tell us what you liked about it. Really, I know we're very negative, but I want to hear, like, the positive things. Even if it's just nostalgia, I kind of love to hear more points of view about this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
you liked.
To be honest, I'm sure if I grew up with a ton of superhero shows. I don't know if they're on the list. If they are, like, there's things like the cartoon version of the X-Men I will defend with my dying breath.
Not on the list.
Oh, that sucks, but it's great. But I mean, it's not. Like, I know it's not. And I'm sure that that's true of this show as well. And I'd love to hear about the wonderful experiences people have had with this absolutely god-awful show.
Tweet us, email us, love to hear your thoughts, but right now I'm giving this 1 hinges.
1 hinge.
1 hinge, yeah.
Sorry, 1.1 hinges.
There you go.
There you go.
Geez. I mean, we can go down to 0, right? No, I'm not. I'm gonna go with 1 hinge as well. Well, yeah, I'll go with 1 hinge. I couldn't really recommend this to anyone. Don't watch it.
Yeah, I'll go. I mean, I kind of liked parts of the pilot, so I'll say 1.5.
I think that is your lowest rating so far of anything.
Yeah, totally
This
is.
is a terrible show.
I'm giving it a 1. I will actively tell people not to watch this show. I already have.
Pedro, did you watch any?
Of course not. You kidding me?
You texted me last night saying, I guess I should watch the show now. And I said, yes, you have to. And then you said, okay.
Yeah, and then I didn't. Are you kidding me? With all the messages going back and forth, you guys were not selling this.
It's true. I mean, we were pretty much just sending messages back and forth on the group chat being like, do I really have to watch another episode? Yes, you do.
I woke up or got out of class or something, and I saw like 20 messages. All bad things about The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, it was true.
Including a message where I said, I would love to hear Pedro's thoughts on this.
Yeah,
Oh. Well,
I think you would enjoy
I'll let you guys
it.
know. Eventually. I don't want to watch this. Are you kidding me?
All
It's
right.
its average is 1.
Yeah.
It's true. It's
Well,
true.
Um,
But just saying, Pedro, it is on the list. So if what we were supposed to do was watch TV shows, and you don't watch it, it's one,
also, we
if
should probably-
Austin dies first.
Well, that means I have to finish the other 70 episodes I haven't seen.
That's true.
So, we'll all find out in 20 years. But
Yep.
unless you email us, tell us what episodes I should watch, and then I'll watch them. Maybe. But that's it. That is it for episode 6. We got through all of our reviews.
Yay!
Yay!
Barely.
You got an intern guy's gonna show up?
What? No, it can't be a consistent thing that he always shows up.
Oh, there he is.
Why is it raining inside my house?
Oh, God, I'm getting all wet, and it's gross. 'Cause it's raining inside your house.
I know. No, I'm definitely buying this happening.
Yeah, it's raining in
It
your
stopped,
house.
though, because the
But now
audio
it's stopped.
Hello?
Hey, thanks for the rain.
Hey, what? This is... What's happening right now?
Are you okay?
I think so. I feel dizzy.
Are you drunk, intern?
Is this what that is?
Have you never been drunk before?
Oh no, is Adam drunk and now you're in a drunk body?
Can gods get drunk?
Oh no!
This explains his entire children's book review.
Yeah.
It does, actually. So
Wow.
Adam was drunk that whole time.
The
I stand
kids-
by my review.
Well, this is kind of cool, though.
You like it? Are you into this?
I could get into this.
Do you feel more confident?
No.
That's what it's for, dude.
I feel like
Here, drink more.
a little bit
Go,
sad,
go.
Oh,
but like also kind of like good.
yeah.
You know, like it's
Yup.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
That's alcohol for you.
this is real cool.
Do you have a number for us?
Yeah. Hold on. Oh wait, no, I can't bring. I just have to remember what number it is. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh no.
Give us the right number, though.
Okay,
Don't,
no, I will. I mean, it's just
Don't have
you've
assholes.
only done 6 episodes. I could probably just pull a number out of my ass and you'd be fine. You know, I would get in a lot of trouble though if I gave you the wrong number. It is. Oh, I got it. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
It's number
Okay.
3.
3, huh?
That was
That's
what
it?
you were having
That was the whole
problems
thing you were having
remembering?
trouble remembering
Wait, no.
right there?
He's pausing. There's more to it, right?
3 what?
No, it's 3.
Number 3.
Alright, well, 3.
Number...
What movie is that?
Oh boy. The movie. Oh no. The movie is Birth of a Nation.
Yeah.
Well,
Good luck with that guy.
And my food is black currants. Coincidence much?
That was ominous.
I'm just saying. Sounds like a racist kind of episode. What's our TV show?
Give me that. It is
Ooh.
The Lone Ranger.
Oh no!
So,
Huh.
Racist and more racist.
Well, we don't know for sure yet. What's the children's book?
What number is it?
3.
Oh, that's
hey, Adam.
yeah. I blanked out. Sorry,
Adam, are you
I'm
drunk?
back. No, I'm fine.
Adam,
I'm
you can tell
I'm
us.
a little drunk.
Oh.
So my book is Make Way for Ducklings by Robert McCloskey.
Aw, I love that book.
That's nice.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be fucking better than John Brown.
The lowest standard for children entertainment.
Yeah, I have... Okay, we have Harold and the Purple Crayon now, which is the tops.
Yeah.
It's true. Now we have a top and a bottom.
Sure. Lee, what are you listening to next week?
Looks like Tragic Songs of Life by the Lovin' Brothers.
Okay.
Lovin' or Leuven?
I don't know. I think it's Lovin'. Why would it be Leuven?
It's spelled O-O-U?
We have 1 week to figure that out.
Yes.
I'll figure it out.
Let's see here. My classical recording is Ballades by Guillaume de Machaut.
Is it ballads?
Well, in French.
I don't know. Ballads, ballades. One of those. Probably ballades.
Ballads, yeah.
Once again, 7 days to listen to it and learn how to pronounce it.
It's not that hard, guys.
I'll try.
I think we can pull this off.
So these are all very interesting takes from the very beginning of our lists.
I would like to, right now,
What's up?
remind everyone that we are very white, and this will be an interesting discussion.
No, that is a. You warn them next episode about that.
Just saying.
Okay, so
We're about to discuss Birth of a Nation. Thought I'd bring it up.
And Lone Ranger.
we have to get them to download next episode. We can't warn them.
It's
off
going to
this.
be great.
We're not ducks either, so that's going to be an asterisk on my,
It's a problem.
my book.
It's
we're,
true.
We're not ducks.
And luckily, unlike most episodes, the Birth of the Nation is probably the easiest one for everyone to have access to. This is in the public domain. You can get it for free and legally at archive.org. It's on YouTube. It's in many places. So if you ever watched this really long silent film about something, we'll tell you about what it is next week.
No.
Nope. We have to go now. It is the end of our episode. It's the end of our episode. Please email us at theimmortalspodcast@gmail.com. You can tweet us at theimmortalspod. We are definitely not telling the plot of the next movie yet. So, thank you all so much for listening, and it is only fitting to end the episode like David Banner, where we all walk our own separate ways down to whatever city it is next. Definitely not discussing next movie, as we all just think about all the awful things we've done to the town we just left. Let's all have our final thoughts as we walk down the path right now. Adam, what are you thinking?
Goodbye.
Pedro?
I wonder how old this recording is and if I can find it.
Lee?
Is it Lovin' or Leuven?
Sarah? There's no way the audio caught that. You can't just... Okay, great. All right. Thank you everyone for listening. Goodbye, everyone.